In November of 2018, a mother of 5 attended what was supposed to be a fun, adult-only slumber party in Cummings, Georgia. By morning, she was gone. Found face down in the backyard, authorities called it an accident. Her family and thousands of supporters say the story doesn't add up. This is the case of Tamla Horsford and why so many people still believe it wasn't just an accident. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name's Adi. So happy to have you here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the little bell to get notified every time I post a new video. So we are back with another case that has haunted thousands of people for many years now. We are going to be talking about Tamla Horsford. So it's the evening of November 3rd, 2018. Tamla arrives at a home on Woodlet Court in Cumming, Georgia for a birthday slumber party. There are 7 women plus 2 men who come and go throughout the night. Jenny Mayers, the host of the party, and her boyfriend Jose Barrera, Stacy Smith, Marcy Wood, and Paula Reynolds, which were going to spend the night. Nicole Merriman and Bridget Fuller, which did not stay the night, but were just hanging out. And Tom Smith, Stacy Smith's husband, he stopped by the house briefly during the night, but did not stay. The atmosphere is relaxed, food, drinks, football, and conversation. The group was described as friendly and familiar with each other, though Tamla was newer to the circle. Nonetheless, she was excited to unwind with friends. Tamla was born in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, a Caribbean nation known for its close-knit communities. She moved to the United States as a child and her family settled in Florida. That's where she grew up before eventually moving to Forsyth County, Georgia, a predominantly white community as an adult, where she built her life with her husband and her children. Tamla was the mother of 5 boys and the stepmom to her husband's daughter, so she definitely had her hands full. And, as a mother, especially to 5 boys, technically 6 children, you don't get a lot of me time, so I'm pretty sure Tamla was definitely excited to be able to hang out with her friends for a night and just relax and not be in mom mode for once. Her friends and relatives describe Tamla as devoted, energetic, protective, deeply involved in her children's lives. Her identity as a mother was central to who she was, as most mothers. When I say mother, we always have to put our children first, so that's definitely the kind of mother that Tamla was. She had a big infectious laugh, loved sports, especially football, and a reputation for being the life of the party without being reckless. So she was definitely a fun person, and she loved to have fun when she could, but she knew her limits and was a responsible adult. So rightfully so, when she was invited to an all-night slumber party with a fellow football mom, she did not hesitate. The night was supposed to be simple: pajama, games, drinks, and conversation. Just a fun girls' night. And according to statements, Tamla arrived cheerful and ready to unwind, wearing a white onesie decorated with paw prints. She brought a bottle of tequila as a gift and was described as friendly and social throughout the night. But she was also the only Black woman there. So as the night goes on, they're drinking, watching the LSU versus Alabama game, playing cards, taking pictures, just having a good time. Tamla was in good spirits, laughing, dancing, and socializing, and she was steadily drinking. And if you know, tequila can hit you pretty hard. But nonetheless, she wasn't going to drive. She wasn't going anywhere. So, she had the green light to go ahead and drink up, girl. And between 11:30 p.m. and 1:45 a.m., guests began heading to bed. Tamla stayed up later than the rest, watching football and eating snacks. Several people said that she planned to sleep on the couch, and security logs from the home system show routine door activity, people stepping outside to smoke and then returning back inside. Then comes the key moment, the last time that Tamla was seen alive. At 1:47 a.m., the back door opens. 1 minute later, it closes. Investigators believe this was Tamla stepping outside to smoke, something she would do regularly. No one sees her after that. So morning comes, it's now 7:30 a.m. and the homeowners wake up, they go down to the kitchen and look outside the kitchen window and they see something outside in the yard. It's Tamla laying face down in the grass, not moving. Emergency services are called. The caller described her as stiff and not breathing. And unfortunately, paramedics pronounced her dead at the scene.
County 911.
Hi, yes, I need an ambulance and a place to my home.
What's the address?
4450 Woodland Court.
Or what is your name?
My name is John Myers, Jeanne.
Okay, and your phone number is 609.
Yes.
Okay, what's going on?
We had people over last night. We were drinking. Most of us went to bed. One of them stayed on the balcony. She was drinking, and we just went outside, and she's laying face down in the backyard. It looks like, I'm guessing, maybe she fell off the balcony, but she's stiff.
Okay, is she breathing?
I don't know if she's face down.
Okay. How old is she?
At 41.
Hey, this is Jose Barrera.
Hey, have y'all checked to see if she's breathing?
She's not moving one bit. She's not breathing.
Okay.
I just tried to assess her, touch her. She's completely face down in the yard. She is stiff.
Okay. Do you know if she, do you see any blood or anything from where she fell?
I don't know if I should move her over. I mean, she's completely face down.
Okay. I mean, can you just check and see if she's breathing? If she's not breathing and you know she's gone, then just leave her where she's at.
I'm completely not sure.
Okay, and that's the only blood that you would see?
That's what I can see without moving her over. I have
Okay.
her face.
Do you know if she, was suicidal at all?
I have no clue. I've met her one other time. Like my girlfriend said, people were over last night. She was her birthday party. We're not the woman that we believe to be deceased, but it's my girlfriend's birthday party. Instead of having everybody go out, she had everyone stay in. And she was the last one I saw before everybody was typically put off to bed. She was the last one in the kitchen. She was just either waiting around for a ride or waiting until the morning. Her name is Tamla Horsford, Horsford, so the black female. I don't believe anybody was. My girlfriend has cameras here on the back deck that we can check.
Okay.
That I think would have caught the incident if she fell from here. Again, I don't know. It's hard to say if she fell from the deck or if she was already downstairs. She was the only smoker here. And
the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office ruled Tamla's death as an accidental fall from the second-story deck. They claimed she had a high blood alcohol level, traces of THC, and anxiety medication in her system. They concluded that Tamla was on the balcony, lost balance, and fell over after everyone went to bed and died on impact. But the injuries raised questions. Tamla had multiple blunt force injuries, cuts on her face, a laceration on her heart, wrist and leg injuries some experts say are inconsistent with a simple fall. No signs she tried to brace herself.
Family wasn't convinced, and a second autopsy was performed, and in that autopsy they found blunt force trauma to her head, neck, and torso, cuts on her face, wrist, hands, and lower legs, a dislocated wrist, and a laceration to the right ventricle in her heart, which some medical experts say is rare in a fall like that. The man who made the 911 call, who was also the husband of the homeowner, was later fired from his job as a court officer when he accessed the police incident report several times without authorization. That's when the hashtag Tamla Horsford started trending. Thousands of people started questioning witness timelines and demanding answers. Celebrities like T.I. and 50 Cent got on board and asked the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the GBI, to reopen the case. It was briefly opened in 2020, but was closed again in 2021. The GBI maintains that they found no signs of foul play. One of the things that doesn't make sense and that doesn't sit well with people is the home security system alerts that were going off throughout the night. The garage door was opened at 1:40, closed again at 1:40, then opened again, then the front door was opened, front door, back door, all of this activity. And none of this was ever explained by the homeowners. In the 911 call, you can hear the boyfriend say that there are security cameras on the balcony and that they were going to check those. They checked them and said that they weren't actually working at the time, that the battery was dead, and that there was no footage at all of Tamla or the incident. So all of the security system activity, the lack of cameras, the inconsistent statements from some of the witnesses there, what time they went to bed, changed from person to person. And then add on top of that her injuries, which weren't consistent, according to some medical experts, with this type of a fall.
So justifiably so, her family immediately pushed back. I mean, all of these injuries are not consistent with somebody just simply falling from a second floor balcony. And online, the case exploded, especially once racial dynamics came into focus. Several details have fueled public suspicion. The balcony railing. The railing was high, around 3 feet. Tamla was athletic and coordinated, and many questioned how she could accidentally topple over it. No fingerprints. Authorities reported no fingerprints on the railing. If she fell, wouldn't she have tried to grab the railing? The body position, Tamla was found face down, arms by her sides, a position some experts say is unusual for a fall, especially an accidental fall. I mean, if she's falling forward, you instinctively would probably put your hands in front of you. So it doesn't make sense for her arms to be by her side. Injuries. Her wrist injury resembled a defensive wound. Her heart laceration raised eyebrows among medical professionals, which, why would she have a heart laceration if she just fell? I mean, I guess you could say that there might have been something on the floor that could have injured her heart, but if it's being question and it's kind of doesn't make sense to experts, that means that there isn't anything or wasn't anything at the scene that could explain that injury. Conflicting statements from the guest. Some said she was extremely intoxicated, while others said she seemed fine. A party guest in law enforcement, one attendee worked in the local court system, and critics argue this created a conflict of interest during the investigation.
Some of the responding officers knew the people at the party. The man on that 911 call was a former probation officer who, at the time, worked in the county's court system. And another woman worked with an officer's wife.
I'm sure you're good because her boss is my wife. So, well, then you're more than good.
In the recordings, we heard police tell the family that when the investigation is complete, they can access all of the records and the pieces will finally fit.
And the speed of the investigation, the case was closed quickly, too quickly, according to Tamla's family. They just took everybody's word for what happened and assumed that it was just an accident and closed the case and moved on.
Ranking Forsyth County deputy is off the job tonight after an internal investigation found he was sending crime scene photos and other sensitive information to his girlfriends. Channel 2's Mike Pachenik has been investigating the allegations for nearly 2 months now, and he tracked down the accusers who say they want the deputy to face criminal charges.
Not moving one bit. She's not breathing.
In November 2018, Forsyth County mother Tamla Horsford died under suspicious circumstances at an adult sleepover. Sheriff's Office veteran investigator Mike Christian, seen here, was assigned to investigate. These two women say they were having affairs with Christian at the time. They spoke to me on the condition of anonymity after they reported their concerns to the Sheriff's Office. This internal affairs investigation we obtained through open records shows Christian's accused of routinely sending the women sensitive information, including crime scene pictures, videos, and others' personal information.
I would be so mad to know that crucial evidence, like in my family member's case, was being sent to his random girlfriends to make him look cool.
Internal Affairs found Christian spent hours on the phone with the women while on duty and often met up with them while he was supposed to be working.
So let's break down the timeline as reconstructed from statements. So at 10 p.m., guests are drinking, playing games, and taking photos. By midnight, several guests go to bed and Tamla remains awake. At 1:30 a.m., Tamla is seen eating gumbo, watching football, and stepping into the deck to smoke. At 1:45 a.m., the last confirmed sighting of Tamla alive. Between 1:45 a.m. and 3:30 a.m., no one reports hearing a fall. No one reports seeing her leave the deck. 7:30 a.m., Tamla is discovered face down in the yard. The gap between 1:45 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. remains one of the most troubling aspects of the case. I mean, granted, everyone was drinking. They might have been passed out drunk, but nobody heard anything. Nobody heard a fall. Nobody heard a scream. I just don't understand how, even if you are pretty intoxicated, how are you going to just fall out of a balcony without trying to brace yourself or trying to catch yourself, trying to grab on the rail? And from what we know, Tamla was a responsible person, which, yes, she was spending the night, so she was probably drinking freely, but then all the injuries, it just doesn't make sense to me. So to understand why the death of Tamla Horsford struck such a deep chord across the country, you have to look beyond the physical evidence and the timeline. You have to look at the context, the racial dynamics that shaped how people interpret what happened and how they felt the investigation was handled. Tamla was the only Black woman at a party attended entirely of white women. In many communities, that detail alone wouldn't raise eyebrows, especially nowadays, but in Forsyth County, Georgia, it carried a different weight. Forsyth has a long, painful history of racial exclusion. For decades, it was known as one of the most notoriously segregated counties in the United States. And while the county has changed over time, that history still lingers in the minds of many residents and many observers. So with the history of the county, it brought a lot of questions to a lot of people, rightfully so. You know, even though we are in 2026 now, and even then 2018, a lot of people are raised into that mindset. So when a Black woman died under suspicious circumstances in a predominantly white social circle in a county with a complicated racial past, people paid attention. And they surely were not quiet about it, as they should. But the racial aspect wasn't just about who was at the party. It was also about how the investigation unfolded. To many, it felt like the system moved quickly to protect the people in the house, all whom were white, rather than thoroughly investigate the death of a Black woman, which happens many, many times. This isn't just a one-off incident. These cases, had tables were turned, it would not unfold like this. Supporters of Tamla's family argued that if the roles had been reversed, if a white woman had died at a party full of Black guests, the investigation would have looked very, very different. One case specifically, Gabby Petito, a white woman goes missing and it blows up everywhere. We don't see that a lot with other races, which is not okay. Everyone should have the same treatment, but unfortunately, even though it's 2026, that is still not the case.
It's closed. The controversial death of a mother found dead outside an overnight house party ruled accidental, but the family attorney and dozens on social media are not buying it.
Sheba, the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office announced they're finally closing the case because investigators believe there is no evidence of foul play in the controversial death of Tamla Horsford. The 40-year-old mother of five became the center of attention after she died at an overnight house party. Several people were at the house and they were drinking. Now, the Sheriff's Office says her injuries were consistent with an accidental fall, ruling out foul play. We got a hold of the toxicology report and it shows she had in her system along with and a high blood alcohol level of 0.238, nearly 3 times the legal limit. And an attorney for Horsford's family says he will review the evidence and meet with the Sheriff's Office before deciding to ask for any further investigation on this controversial case, Sheba.
They believe there would have been more scrutiny, more pressure, and definitely more urgency. And whether or not that's true, perception matters. The racial aspect also played out online. As the story spread, many people connected Tamla's death to a broader pattern, cases where Black victims died under unclear circumstances and their families struggled to get answers. The case gained so much momentum during a time when conversations about racial justice were intensifying across the country. And for many, Tamla's story wasn't just about one woman. It was about a system they felt had failed many times before. And in 2020, after renewed public pressure, the case was reviewed again, and the GBI examined the evidence but ultimately did not file any charges. And still, Tamla's family does not believe the truth has been uncovered, and in my opinion, I don't think so either.
Get out of hand.
Her father says a pathologist they hired found injuries on Tamla's body they believe happened after she was already dead. They believe someone may have tossed her body off of the deck.
Her wrist was cut. The bone was broken. Where they said the body was, there was no blood pool. That means she was already dead.
The official ruling remains that Tamla's death was accidental, but the public still isn't convinced. And years later, here we are. The case remains one of the most debated unsolved deaths. It has become a symbol of something larger: the ongoing struggle for equal treatment, equal protection, and equal justice. Tamla's family has never accepted the accidental fall explanation. They've pushed for transparency, accountability, and an independent investigation. They've said repeatedly that the injuries, the inconsistencies, and the unanswered questions make the official story impossible to believe. So here we are, 2026, still fighting for justice for Tamla. 6 kids lost their mom without a just explanation. And in my opinion, there's more to this story. I don't believe that it was an accident. I do not believe that Tamla just fell, especially with all the inconsistent statements, with all the injuries, which if you're an investigator, you're a detective, you should know what injuries go with what accident. Just doesn't make sense that it really seems like they just turned a blind eye. Was it because of Tamla's race? We don't know. It's hard to not believe that with the history of that county. And until the truth comes to light, her family will continue to fight, and we will be right behind them, supporting them, fighting with them, because Tamla deserves justice. But have you guys heard about this case? What do you guys think happened that night? Was it truly an accident, or is there more to the story? Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments, and as always, please remain respectful. I'm interested in knowing you guys' opinion. I truly don't believe this was an accident, and I really, really hope that one day we can get justice for Tamla. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.